So you want to know how to grow morel mushrooms. I'll show you the method I use. It's easy, cheap, and you know what? It works. So if you're ready to start finding more than you can eat, stay tuned. The first thing you'll need is a food-safe container. I like to use these 5-gallon buckets I find at Walmart. They're cheap and they work well. You'll also need some unsulfured molasses, fresh wood ash, wood stove, fire pit, whatever, baking flour, and table salt. There's nothing too crazy going on here. You probably already have most of this shit laying around the house. You'll also need a little food processor. I got this one from Dollar General just for the purpose of making this spore slurry. A cheap fish aquarium air pump to keep the water oxygenated. It's important to use non-chlorinated water. The chemicals found in tap water could hurt the spores. This method can be used to establish new patches, but works very well to increase the yield of existing ones. If you don't have access to fresh morels, this will also work with the spore kits that can be found online. I think these little peckerheads like to eat the mushrooms. I don't know for sure, but I usually see them when I'm out hunting, so I have my suspicions. The ones you find with bad spots are particularly important to keep. We'll touch more on that later. One of the most important steps in this process is near the end, so be sure you don't miss it. Be careful when you're out hunting. There's lots of vicious animals roaming around. Every mushroom is covered in millions of spores, so wash them off in the water to collect as many as you can. Back to the bad spots I mentioned earlier, the parts that only look appetizing to the bugs that have already eaten them. These will make up the bulk of what we use in our spore slurry. Oh, this is a nice one. It's a shame they couldn't all look like this. If you've been finding this video useful, consider subscribing. I would like to grow this little channel of mine. And be sure to let me know in the comments what is your favorite way to cook morel mushrooms. I typically cook mine the traditional way with flour and salt and pepper, but most recently I've tried marinating them overnight in beef broth and frying them with steak, and son of a bitch. Anyways, back to the video. You'll start by blending your spoilage in the food processor. Now it's time for this gooey shit. A few spoonfuls of the molasses will be enough to feed the mycelium as it develops. And a cup or so of the wood ash and flour. I don't have it down to an exact science, but I'm sure you'll have the wherewithal to figure it out. A teaspoon or so of the table salt. This is to inhibit microbial growth, potential bad bacteria that could hurt the spores. With that all mixed up, we need to gather some substrate for the mycelium to adhere to. You can use wood chips or shavings for this, but I like to use what's already present in the environment. I figure if the mushrooms are already living on it, then it's probably going to work the best. Would you look at this tasty little bastard? Allow this mixture to marinate for 24 to 48 hours. But before you start doing all of this, now comes the most important step that I mentioned earlier in the video. Monitor your local weather and attempt to create this mixture a day or two before a heavy rain. The rain will help pull the spores deep into the ground where they are safe from drying out. By now, this mixture contains billions of spores and can be diluted across as many buckets as you feel like carrying. The rain comes. I better get my ass in gear. My brother and I found this patch on the farm when we were kids. It exists on roughly 1/8 of an acre. On good years with favorable conditions, we could expect to find 24 or so. After trying this method, I found 130 the following year. But as with all things, your mileage may vary. If you've made it this far, thanks so much for watching. Take care and happy hunting.